Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pearls of Wisdom. Today is full moon, so I have a reading for you. And, you can feel the tension in the air, probably all of you. So I was not very surprised to see this kind of chart with so much tension. But also, see, we have the blue lines, they are actually gifts. So what is coming out of the whole energy frequency in the moment is just like what we know is that change. And I heard about that and I really feel it, that there is some timeline chaos going on. And if you have similar feelings, it's kind of, um, it's I cannot say normal, but it's kind of no natural if you feel it, and if you feel sometimes very very much distracted from things, or like you concentrate on something, you want to do something, you walk somewhere, and suddenly you don't know anymore what you were doing, where you were going. This is very typical when the timelines are shifting, when we are kind of in between, that our natural, or not, no, this is the normal, our normal routine is disturbed because we are moving back in a natural cycle, and normal is the norm and natural is actually who we are naturally. And this can be sometimes very irritating, because you see, we also have the moon in Pisces, that is kind of disorientation. And it's together, the moon just went over the retrograde Chiron, and Chiron is the healer. And we see we have here all the planets retrograde, not Mercury yet. So some people might think that has something to do with the retrograde Mercury, but it's not yet. It has really something to do with the time quality and with that shifting energies that we are in the moment. So the sun is in Virgo, the moon is in Pisces. And then we have another very, very strong squares to Mars in Gemini. So this feels a little bit like Mercury retrograde, because you might even feel that sometimes you express yourself more direct, and in certain cases even some more aggressive, because things just coming out. It's like gushing it out. It's like sometimes the brain, the mind is not so fast anymore in correcting us and putting us back into that norm, where we flow in a norm that is actually not our nature. So I see cracks everywhere, and this is what is actually going on with the retrograde Chiron in the moment. So let us recap quickly about Chiron. What does it mean? Chiron is a planetoid that is in Western astrology and other systems usually not recognized. But in my opinion and experience also, it plays quite a big role, because we talk here about quality of time. We're not talking about the influence of planets. So I think it's very important to discriminate that it's not about the planet influencing us, but they show a certain quality of time. So if we wouldn't have stars, like for example, the water is the easiest to explain, the ebb and the tide. It's anyway, if we have a moon or not, but the moon is aligned to that cycle. So we see the moon cycles and the water cycles connected, which also includes the menstruation cycle of a woman. But we would have a menstruation cycle anyway, if the moon would be there or not. But it's just a very, very fantastic things that we can see it in those celestial bodies, that certain principles are connected to others, are defining the quality of time. So Chiron in the mythology is the guy with the horse lower body and the human upper body. Chiron was a healer. He was a teacher and he was a healer. And he got wounded by his own arrow from one of his disciples in a war, but he could not die because he was half of a god. You know, the symbolic is good. The upper part that is human, that is part of the divine, having consciousness, and the lower part, the horse, the body, is the animal part, which is connected with the physical body, with the like the God is incarnated into flesh. So at the same time, we have the story of Prometheus, which plays the major role. And guess what is Prometheus in the horoscope is actually Mercury. So what happened is that Prometheus has cheated Zeus, and Zeus was very angry at him, and he chained him on the Caucasus mountain. And during the day, the eagle ate his liver, and during the night, the liver grew back. So he was condemned for eternal suffering unless somebody redeems him or herself and goes into the underworld for him. Then he would be freed. And that's more or less what Chiron did. He rescued Prometheus. And because he was wounded, he was in pain, and he was kind of tired of this life. So he was very happy to die, meaning leave that body and move on. That Prometheus Mercury could be freed. Now, when you look at the symbol of Mercury, we have the moon, we have the input, we have the sun symbol, the sound, the round sun symbol, which is consciousness, and then at the bottom we have the cross, which is manifestation. So this is how a human being function. Human being function through input, whatever input it is. It can be seeing, hearing, smelling, touching, whatever. It's input, and then it goes into the consciousness, it's processed, and out of it we manifest something. It's, for example, you can manifest it through spoken word, through drawings, through singing, through anything you want to do. So this is the nature of human beings. So again, it's also a very wrong statement that many people say, in Western astrology anyway, I am, well, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, whatever. You're not, because this is not who you are, because the I am is the sentence where we create. So we create something. Like if you look here, for example, Mercury is actually both Mercury and the Sun are in Virgo, but when you look here, the inner circle represents the Western astrology, and I use it for calculating because it's easier. So Virgo, the Sun Virgo is actually here in Western astrology in Libra, and Mercury is already in Scorpio. But when we look in the sky, the real sky, that's how it looks. So both are here in Virgo, which is the sign of harvest. And this is very important to understand now about the harvest. We have here the moon and the sun in opposition. We have the Chiron topic here, the healing topic. So we have to focus on our consciousness and become spontaneous again. I mean, not that everything we do, we act, we react, we speak, is filtered through the mind, which is the program. So we function on a matrix, and every matrix has a program. It doesn't matter what kind of matrix. We cannot function outside, otherwise everything would be dissolved. So meaning it needs a stage or a playground that has been set up, and then the being steps into this playground on that stage, into this matrix, whatever word you use. And here it starts with the activities. Now, when Mars is connected with the two planets, and we have here the conjunction with retrograde Chiron, it is kind of deleting our program, you know? It is kind of getting through the program, making cracks into that wall that was around us, that was from the programs. And so it often comes out in the moment, and this is also in the seventh house, meaning with the people around us. It's the first house is me, the seventh house is you. So you means all the people that we encounter. It's not just partnership in marriage or any or business partnership or whatever, that it's generally the you. And then we have also in the seventh house, the first planet coming up here is retrograde Jupiter. That means Jupiter is the expansion. Jupiter is the one that goes beyond the boundaries. But it's retrograde, meaning it's going on beyond the boundaries, not without, but within. And again, here, this is like the matrix is cracking. The old matrix where we have been living on for a very long time with the program, the matrix that has been hijacked by the dark ones, now it's crumbling. And you can see here we have an orange, which is a karma aspect. And this goes to Mercury, who represents the persona. Personare means talking through. And this is the, you can also say the avatar. This is the avatar for our soul. So Mercury here is in a karmic relationship with retrograde Jupiter, meaning inside those boundaries that have been laid down for us, these programs, how we supposed to function, are cracking. I was recently a little bit diving into watching old movies. And I tell you, this is such bullshit. Sorry. I was kind of laughing. I mean, these stories are so ridiculous when I look back now. I don't remember that I have watched these movies before. This is like from the 40s, 50s. And I was grown up by starting in the 50s, you know. So this was even before my time. But I mean, this kind of really weird programming is how life should be. I can really see the brainwash there. And then when you go further in the 60s, where I was also into that music at that time, when I listen to the text, it is all this codependency. I need you. I love you. I need this. I need that. And you know, it's so much about neediness. And it's neediness is in principle the opposite of freedom, because the moment you need something, at the moment you are depending to get that, because you give away your power that this makes you happy. And most of, if you go back and listen to these songs or watch a few of these movies, it's just kind of, it's absolutely ridiculous. And that does not mean that the newer movies are better. It's actually the same, but it's just like through more action and more whatever technology, whatever they have inside, it's a bit different. So the old movies also in a way are very boring. So it was very interesting to see that, because I was watching something and this popped up, and so it was with Sophia Loren, and that was when I was young, one of the most beautiful women that I admired at that time. And one of the movies I watched with her was simply so stupid, so absolutely ridiculously stupid. I cannot. What the heck did I see then? Well, anyway, what I saw is I was a very, very young girl, and I had no idea about what's going on. So when you see again the chart, so what is happening is actually the consciousness, our consciousness is moving through cracks between old and new matrix. Those who are waking up in the moment and they see all this disclosure, and I don't want to talk much about that, but you know what I mean, what's happening in the world, what's happening with the weather, what's happening with the children, what's happening, etc. So when you are awake and you can see what's happening, you can see the cracks everywhere, that it's not accepted anymore just the way it is, but that people are standing up, and you see it all over the world in the moment. And this is part of the masks that are falling now, the masks of those who have played the game with us, the famous people on the stages that have brainwashed us into, for example, also what happiness is supposed to be, and how we are supposed to live our lives, and how we are step by step being moved away from our true nature. Now you see the rising sign, the AC is in Scorpio. So that means also like, oh my God, this is very big change that is happening here for us. This is a very much change in coming back to understand who we really are on another level. And a lot of people who are waking up now, they also realize very clearly that they are not the body. And you know how you say, like, I have a hand, but I'm not my hand. I have feet, but I'm not my feet. The same way, I have a body, but I'm not my body, but I inhabit that body and I have to take care of it because that body is very important for us. Because this is the vessel that carries us through that experience as a human being. So this is that major triangle that is kind of shaking us up in the moment with Mars. You know, Mars is a very interesting planet. They all say it's the warrior, and mostly again, like everything is like Saturn is the enemy, Mars is the warrior. It's not just like that. If you look at the symbol of Aries, this is the first fire coming up. It's the torch of light. It's the first light. So Aries is also the torch bearer that brings the light. So this is very important for us to see the light. And when we have here Mars and in Gemini, that is the moment where we go out and share the light again, 7,000 with the people around us. So this is the meaning that it's time now that we become the lighthouse. And what is also very, very important now is you don't have to go and shake people and try to wake them up. This is not working. It is very much now according to the consciousness level of a person, where a person is. It will not change much anymore. There might be a few that are still waking up, but generally those who are on a higher consciousness level, they are older souls, they've been here many times, they're awake. You don't need to wake them up anymore. But what you have to do is now to hold the light and shed that light like a lighthouse that they can see the dangers. Because what actually high evolved souls often don't see is the dangers of the material human world. And because our consciousness is on a different level. So, for example, a person who is living on a higher consciousness based on positivity cannot, or mostly cannot, see the negativity around. And we walk into traps. We are vulnerable. We are some other negative energies can, with their dramas or whatever, can kind of convince us that they need our help, and we give away our power, or they make us angry and they do things to hurt us, to harm us, to distract us from our inner peace. So think about again, when I say be like a lighthouse, be like the sun. The sun does not really care, or not at all care, who is walking in the sunshine and who is not. Neither does the lighthouse care if a boat approaching can see it or not. It's just there. And this is what we have to be. We have to learn to be not engaged anymore with all these dramas that are playing out. Like this Virgo sun, the harvest, we're at the end. The last full moon was in the beginning. So we have in this moon cycle that we went through, we have been confronted with a lot of things that we have planted before. And many of you, us, can confirm that a lot of happen, especially also in dreams. And I have experienced also a lot of stuff from my past coming up again. It goes even so far that I was contacted by a group of people I was involved with when I was in my actually very young, as a teenager, and they want to make a meeting with these people again to talk about what they have experienced in their life. And this is really from a very, very far away past. I mean, 50 years, something plus, like that. So it's really that things are coming up again in our life that we have to look at, but just look at it and let it go. It's fine. Okay, this happened too. And what I experience in the moment now, that actually these are not negative events, but they are mostly positive events. Events that I have very happy memories from my childhood, that people I really liked. And somehow it seems that the negative things I was working on before. So with this constellation, this is with especially that Jupiter here retrograde in Taurus, that manifestation, it is much more easy to kind of let go the events that were not so nice, and we are happy to let them go. But we also have to let go the others, which is sometimes more difficult. But anyway, so what is happening in the moment with these orange and red lines here? We have a little orange here, but that's not so important and more difficult to explain. So what is happening here as a main process is now that our nature, that kind of torchbearer, and again, the light. What is the light? The light is life. That your true life force is coming through again, that starts to communicate with the world, with the people around you, that you start to share in a first time, maybe since his life, or even I don't know how long, that you start to be much less cautious what you share, maybe really like a child again. It is like that saying, you have to become like a child again. And this is not about being childish, but this is more about the innocence of a child that comes out spontaneously with what is there, because the brainwash has not taken hold yet. And it is like that reducing this energy back to become like that child again, to be spontaneous, to be just who you really meant to be, and not anymore to play all these roles that society is expecting you to play. And we have a lot of support with the blue and the green lines that are helping us now to really understand here this Mercury retrograde with the blue line to the sun. And then we have here the blue lines here with the node and Neptune from Venus. So this is melting away, here also Scorpio, melting away, transforming all those negative patterns, these negative energies that have been like a huge backpack that we carried around. I don't know if you know the situation, like, for example, you go and you meet somebody and you know exactly that person you meet is in a social ladder much higher than you. So you get dressed up, you make yourself look beautiful, you do this, you do that, and then you think about, oh my God, how I'm going to behave, what I'm going to say to that person, so on. And see, this is about the program, because even if somebody in a social ladder is higher up, that does not mean that in the consciousness level, that person is higher up too. It's generally most of the time the opposite. And so once you bring down, or you remember again, you bring down as a basis for you to kind of stand on again your own self-esteem as a divine being, then you don't have to worry anymore who is the person outside of you. And then see that Mars coming through with Mercury is like you break through these gaps of the crumbling matrix, of the crumbling brainwash that is, and here you observe what is happening in that harvest energy here with the personality, with your personality here, that is connected to the whole, and that is see that line here? This is a quincunx, is going to the node. And the node is generally the connection to all the people, the whole. And then we have the trine going here, back up from here to Venus. That means that we are moving much more into our creative abilities, because see, here Venus doesn't have a moon on top, but it's the same otherwise like Mercury. So this is the wisdom coming within. This is the creator, the creatress within us. So we start to create, and then we balance things in our life that are now like the power to take back our power, to destroy the brainwash, to destroy the programs and become ourselves again. And then we have the opposition going to Uranus, and Uranus, that will be then in a way the higher self. See, we have the sun in again with the arrow up. So this is the kind of focus on the higher self, when we don't talk just from a material point of view, but the spiritual point of view. So this is a very promising horoscope. It's kind of maybe not easy to face that suddenly you are in a situation with the authority around you and you said something that is kind of, okay, not appropriate. But just smile, just be there. And what I have experienced, look the people into the eye. Don't let them fob you off and make you like looking down like the sinner. Stand tall, look the people into the eye and talk to them, and then see their real reaction when you work with your own power, with your divine heritage, with the energy of the divine being having the human experience. Maybe this is a way that you can still wake up a few more people, but it's absolutely no use to try to shake them, to talk to them, to try to convince them. You have to let go. You have to let it be. Everybody has chosen. And some people, they will end up on another timeline than you might. And it's okay. The souls are not lost. They just go to different schools. It's really like first grade, second grade, third grade, so on. And it is very clear that a child from first grade is not in the same classroom as somebody who is in university. That's it. And so once you understand that the whole process and you expand your consciousness, that you are not anymore just like, not, don't think even one lifetime. But when you think about it, a whole chain of different incarnations, then you can see that everything is okay. And it is much easier to be at peace. And we root here in the moment. Here we have the Pisces energy. That means that our old solid ground, which was the false matrix, is being flushed away. And maybe this is why we have all these things going on with water. And especially now, those who are in areas with floods, we had also floods here, massive floods. Just send those people light. Send them light, send them love, hold them in your heart. That's the only way you can help them. Remember, and I said that many times before, each person incarnated in this time, in this moment right now, is here for a very, very specific reason. And we knew from the beginning of our incarnation that this life will kind of sort us. I have the Harry Potter sorting head just in mind. Is we are being sorted into different houses. Don't try to change things. And remember, death is nothing horrible. Death is the graduation of the life, of the class. So the graduation for a kid in kindergarten or a first grader, sixth grader, whatever, is not the same. And they are sorted into their timeline, into their reality where they are going. So for some people, it's good when they can go. But be kind to them. hold them in the light, yeah. Send them blessings. It's very difficult, I know, in some cases. Believe me, I have personal experience there. But that's all I can say in the moment. When we came, we knew it's not going to be easy. But one thing we knew, we can make it. That's why you're here. That's why I'm here. We can make it. We did not come with a task that we knew in the beginning we cannot make it. We chose something that we knew we can. So I want to let you with this one over that full moon, and I wish you all the best, and I send you lots of love and hope that you're doing well. Bye bye for now.